Welcome back to the program. So great to have you as usual. Don't want to waste any time. Want to get to our next guest here on the program as we go to our...
Let's go to the Hooser Media Hotline.
That's right. Really happy to have on the program. He's a congressman from right here in my home state, great state of Kansas, the big first district, the entire western half of the state of Kansas, former lieutenant governor as well from the state of Kansas. But my good friend, Congressman Tracy Mann. Congressman, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. Andy, thanks for having me on. We've been friends for a long time. Appreciate what you do. We've got to continue to advocate for our conservative values, in Kansas and around the country, and really excited to get to be part of it, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always great to chat with you, and I'm excited to see the direction we're going in D.C. It's been painstakingly slow, I think, but we are still only 120 days or so into the administration and into the session, so I guess we're still moving in a decent pace. I mean, you guys just passed the One Big Beautiful Bill a week or two ago out of the House, a one-vote majority. I know that was a battle to get there, but from your angle, from what you saw, what was that conversation like as you guys move forward with that bill?
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with what you said on, it seemed like a lot of things were taking longer than I would like. The One Big Beautiful Bill, though, it lumps in what Republicans ran on and the president's top priorities, and it's a great bill, Andy. If you look at President Trump's executive orders, roughly 150 or so far, dozens of them are included in the One Big Beautiful Bill because it's important to codify them. And additionally, the One Big Beautiful Bill delivers the largest tax cut for working and middle-class Americans in history. It secures the border. It's welfare reform. It stamps out wage fraud and abuse and really changes the trajectory of the spending in this country on some of these programs. Vitally important that we get it passed.
Yeah, it is really good news. I know the biggest holdup was some of the quote-unquote fiscal hawks that said it didn't cut enough spending, which I understand. I get it. It's $1.6 trillion in spending cuts over a decade, which we could always see more. That's great news. At the same time, the $5 trillion in tax cuts, the codifying of Trump tax cuts 1.0, the preparation of Trump tax cuts 2.0. I mean, overall, while we can always find ways to cut more spending, tax cuts and growing the economy, major priority, it seems like, in this bill.
Well, absolutely. And don't forget, this is not a spending bill. This is a reconciliation bill that makes sure that we don't have a massive tax hike come January 1. Also, the scoring agency, the number cited is this group called the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, very left-leaning. For years, frankly, they have just been flat wrong, and they are constantly trying to penalize Republican initiatives in the Trump administration when they score, provides price tags for these things. They are assuming a very low growth rate for Trump's economy. If you have a more normal growth rate, then this bill does not add to the deficit at all. In fact, it reduces the deficit in the 10-year budget window. So just a lot to like in this bill.
Yeah, that's really great news. Now, here's the big question. Obviously, it's over. You guys passed it and shot it over to the Senate side. The Senate battling their deal right now. In your opinion, from what their conversations look like, how much is it going to be manipulated and changed? And are you expecting it to come back to your side after a lot of revisions from the Senate side?
Yeah, well, we will see. The core of the bill is going to remain unchanged: tax policy and welfare reform. Now, what it looks like and some of the nuances thereof, certainly there could be some tweaks and changes. We'll see that process as well underway. The president has been very clear, and we've met with him multiple times about this, but getting this bill passed is his top priority. Don't forget, money is in this bill to actually build the wall and once and for all secure the border, to make sure that no president can come along and do what President Joe Biden did with his open border policies. Right. These are very important things for the future of the country, and we need to get it passed.
Well, and you mentioned, Congressman, some of the reform on social programs. We hear the protests. There's protests going on all over the country every single weekend. It's been absolutely ridiculous. And even here in Kansas, as you know, protesting the reform of the quote-unquote Medicaid program. Congressman, I'm not aware of a whole lot of major reforms in the Medicaid program in this bill other than putting in work requirements for able-bodied adults, which would be common sense to me, and getting rid of illegal aliens on the social program. Both of those seem basic common sense that would save us some money, but it doesn't change the core purpose of what this program's about.
Andy, you're exactly right. We are trying to preserve this program for the people that really need it. Elderly, folks that have young, a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, a single mom that's trying to care for them, right? I mean, that's what we're trying to protect it for. All we're doing is we're saying folks that are not in the country legally should not get federal benefits. That seems very reasonable. Also saying that any able-bodied adult without dependents, so if you're able to work up to age 64, you need to be working 20 or volunteering 20 hours a week to receive benefits. This is good policy. This makes sense. When you talk about waste, fraud, and abuse, Andy, I mean, you realize there's so much waste in these programs, just flat errors as these programs are being administered. Abuse, non-American citizens are receiving benefits. I mean, that's just flat out abuse. And then fraud. We have folks that should be returning to the workforce. They're not. That's fraudulent, and we need to stamp it out.
It's crazy. We're talking with Congressman Tracy Mann, the big first district of the great state of Kansas. You mentioned a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. That's been the focus of you guys in Congress for a little bit, also with the Department of Government Efficiency. I know Elon Musk now is officially out of the DOGE program, but that doesn't mean that it's going away. A rescission bill coming to the floor of the House, you guys discussing right now, trying to weed out some of this waste, fraud, and abuse, and codifying some of the findings that DOGE has found already. How's that process going right now?
Yeah, well, I'm excited. The White House delivered end of the last week. They sent us a rescission bill, and happy to vote to support it here later on the day or tomorrow when that comes up. Really looking at a lot of the woke stuff that USAID was doing around the world, things that Kansans, almost every American would disagree with. I mean, I've got a list here where $643,000 for LGBTQ I plus, whatever that means, programs in the Western Balkans, $500,000 for electric buses in Rwanda, $2.1 million for climate resilience in Southeast Asia. I mean, what are we doing?
Come on, Congressman. I need a transgender big bird in Guam. I mean, that's what we need right now. Come on.
I mean, unbelievable. Meanwhile, we're $36 trillion in debt. So it's an easy yes vote for me to rescind or to prevent this money from being spent on these, priorities from the radical left that should never have been funded or even considered in the first place.
Yeah, it is sad that we've allowed that to happen, like you said, in the first place. We didn't know these programs, these spending projects were going on. Is there a way that not only can we codify to make sure that they're going away and that we cut that spending and rescind some of that money, but make sure this doesn't happen again? It seems like a lot of these bureaucratic agencies and departments just kind of went rogue and started doing whatever they want to for years, and we never kept them in check.
No, that's right. And they never disclosed that to Congress. They never provided the level of detail needed to give the transparency to have proper oversight. So right. That's one of the big efforts and really legacies of DOGE is going to be providing a much more transparent view for the American people and for Congress on the spending that's actually happening in the federal government.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate. We're talking with Congressman Tracy Mann, big first district here in Kansas. Let's shift gears a little bit to agriculture. In the One Big Beautiful bill, there's a semi-farm bill that was included in there, a reform in some of the SNAP programs, actually giving some more wiggle room for, agriculture, which is a wild concept to me. That's in that bill. Talk about what some of the details were there and what we're doing moving forward when it comes to the agricultural industry right now.
Yeah, well, a big thing on the food nutrition on the SNAP side is preventing states from waiving work requirements. So there are work requirements, but states are able to waive them. So that means there really aren't work requirements for large states like California and other blue states. So that's big. Also making sure that able-bodied adults without dependents, so these are people that do not have small children, that they return to the workforce at least 20 hours a week to receive benefits, able to then take dollars to invest in crop insurance and do some other things to help our ag producers, which is essential that we remain food independent and that we get ag policy right so it works for the family farms in this country. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Now, at the same time, I know you're working close with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Secretary Brooke Rollin, having a meeting with her, and I know their partnership, which is really neat, with the Department of Health and Human Services and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., making sure our food's nice and healthy. But what's your latest conversations with the USDA and what's been their priority right now? Well, have a hearing with Secretary Rollins here actually later on today. She was in Kansas right after she got sworn in. She toured a feed yard, toured a dairy, packing plant, talking to ag producers in Kansas, which I appreciate. Excited to talk to her about some efforts that she has underway to expand trade relationships, so that we can be exporting our American-grown ag products overseas, host of other things that she's been working on as well. But really glad that she's in place, and Brooke Rollins doing a great job leading the Department of Agriculture.
That's really exciting. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of conversation with the trade, with the tariff deals right now. The Trump administration working on redoing a lot of those. Where's Brooke Rollins stand on that with the USDA in diversifying some of our trade, making new partnerships around the world to be able to export so many of our ag products that we make around this area?
Yeah, well, that's something we're going to be talking about at today's hearing. She was in India a few weeks ago. India, a huge opportunity for us to expand our trade, especially our agricultural trade relationship with India. China's made progress with China. Trump has made progress with a new deal with China this week that'll favor Americans so that it's a more level playing field. All of this is good news for our great country, in my view.
I'm excited. Got a lot of things going on in D.C., and we're slowly moving in that right direction, and we appreciate everything that you are working on, my friend. It's Congressman Tracy Mann, the big first district in Kansas. Keep up that fight in D.C. Let's get you back on and do it again real soon.
Sounds great, Andy. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah, always a pleasure. We love having you on the show. It's Congressman Tracy Mann from the big first district of Kansas.